Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. When I was in middle school, I was really popular. I was like the world's like perfect ideal. Like I was super thin and like blonde and cute, and I wore Abercrombie, and I was dating this lacrosse player who like everybody was like really into. During that summer, I went through puberty basically, and so I came back and I was bigger. I had like hips. I had, boobs. I had really bad stretch marks too because I gained weight in such a short period of time. One time this girl put Weight Watchers stuff all over my locker, and people like made this list, and I was like number one on like the once hot list. As a person who was always into visual culture and fashion, my whole life it was always so much pressure to be really thin. That was the focus of my life, and that meant my life could start after I became thin. It became like all-consuming when I came to New York City. So I got to a certain point where I was bulimic, and I had no friends. I also used to buy like mass quantities of food, and I would chew it up and spit it back out into like garbage bags or whatever. I was like living in the dorms. And one day my roommate like found a bag of like this gross stuff under my bed that I was gonna go throw away, and it was just like the most humiliating thing.
Now I hold his soft red core to my lips as his brothers crowd in, hairy angels who take my gift. My ankles are a flute. I lose hips and wrists. For 3 days, for love's sake, I bless this other death. Oh, not in air, in dirt, under the rotting veins of its roots, under the markets, under the sheep bed where the hill is flood, under the slippery fruits.
I met Amanda, and we became like best friends, and just telling her that I had an eating disorder and that I felt like shit about myself 90% of the time, it made me feel like the secrets seemed not that important and they didn't have power anymore. Also, what was huge for me is I really like found a community online. I met a lot of people like in the blogosphere that showed me that there could be people that were stylish and happy and not a size zero. It's not just like Vogue and all the really mainstream publications that are damaging, like even the niche magazines still print like super thin women that are all white, and that's beauty. And I stopped trying to lose weight, and I stopped saying like, oh, you can't wear that because of your body. I just started wearing whatever I felt like wearing. And I definitely draw attention to myself. I get like so much like nonsense from people on the street. And sometimes it's cool, like it's people who are like genuinely confused by what I'm wearing, which is kind of neat, but sometimes it's aggressive, and I've been called a slut, which is gross. And I can't control what other people's sexist interpretations of what I'm wearing. Even if you were feeling liberated with what you're doing, that feeling isn't going to translate necessarily to whoever's watching you. What was really cool for me was learning about what was at play in these advertisements and like different things that were making me feel terrible about myself. Learning that those things are construction, they're not real, and that beauty is A, not the most important thing, and that B, it's like vast. It's much wider than it's portrayed. I felt really liberated.